It is The Riot on RadioU. Hi and happy Monday.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
You just sound so, like, I don't know, shy.
Sometimes I just I feel like I'm leaving a voicemail when we start this off.
Well, are you meaning like you're phoning it into the voicemail?
It's Hudson just checking in.
Just wanted to see
whenever
how
you get a
you're
chance,
doing
give me a
from
call
the weekend.
back. Yep. And just wanted to touch base.
Well, it actually does seem like maybe an older relative who's just checking in and telling you everything that's going on for the day.
I don't want to think about that.
Well, Isaiah plays the part of the elderly relative who's going to tell us what happened this morning.
Yeah, so this morning, one of the things you guys talked about was some of the Turkey Hill mystery ice cream flavor. Right?
You want to try it?
Yes, I do. I do want to try
go get it?
Well,
Wow.
it's upon you
I
to
call you
go
get
find it.
Hey, I love Turkey Hill. I'm a frequent flyer at Turkey Hill.
Oh, yeah?
But you guys talked a little bit about like the Mountain Dew Voodoo that we tried a while ago.
Yeah.
And you guys did you ever figure out what the flavor was?
No, that's what.
Well, it's not hard. You just Google it.
Yeah,
Like
and
it'll
so,
we
tell you
never
each
confirmed
year.
our suspicions, whatever our suspicions
So-
even were. What did we say? Sweet tarts?
We said like sweet tarts was like
Everybody says sweet tarts every year.
Yeah,
It's that
exactly.
taste, yeah.
And if you remember, I think the year before was like some sort of like fruit explosion or something was
Starburst,
Yes,
yeah.
and we
Because
were
it's
like,
not officially any candy.
It's
It's
not.
like, yeah.
and we were like, that's so vague. And this year's, I looked it up.
As in
And?
like 2022?
The one we just tried.
Or the one, okay, so the past one.
Was fruit candy chews.
Yeah. Oh, like nerds.
So Starburst.
Starburst?
Just candy, I guess.
It
Like
could
anything.
be
Literally-
now or later's. It could be, who knows?
Literally just candy. And so like we were talking about how like vague the last one was, and it felt like it was the exact same thing as this year's, but it was really good though.
But I wonder
That was
with
a
the
good
ice
one.
cream, again, will they go like sugary candy or will they go
They can go anywhere.
chocolatey
Yeah.
or what sort of, like, what will it actually be?
There's so many possibilities, and the only way to find out.
Is if Isaiah goes and gets
yeah,
I'll go
you
get
know,
it.
hey, Turkey Hill's one of the doable ones for us.
Isn't
It's
it
right
right
around
over
the
there?
corner.
Yeah, there's
It's
a
very
bunch of them
close.
around
Yeah.
here. There's a lot of them
it?
around
Good
me
luck
as well.
to you.
Yeah.
That's
Hopefully I
positive
can
thinking right there.
Track that down for us. We also talked a little bit about the sports that happened over this past weekend.
course.
Did some NFL talk. Talked about how the college football national championship is tonight.
Yep.
And there's not really anything going on in the NFL outside of everyone's prepping for the playoffs, but nothing really matters.
Yeah,
and we kind of circle back
Well.
to Hudson wants the Packers to win, and then in college football, he doesn't care unless Ohio State's playing, and he doesn't want them to win.
I feel like we're at the very end, and it's not like you guys are getting tired of football.
No, I'm
I
tired
don't
of
feel
it.
that, but I feel
Tired.
like there's nothing going on right now until,
Spoken like a true non-football fan.
Hey, no,
There's
Nikki,
nothing
you're right.
going
you're
on.
as excited
you're right.
as you are in other weeks.
Well,
You're
I
right.
was so excited. Yesterday was there was great finishes. 1 o'clock. We've got a big upset, and the Steelers game goes to overtime. Then 4 o'clock games, the Niners game goes to overtime. The Saints get kicked out of the playoffs right at the last minute. And then the Sunday night, I mean, there was so much going
Now
on.
listen, this right now you had more energy than you did
Yeah.
the whole morning
During the show.
about it. So that's why I felt differently.
Nikki was like, she was like, what happened with the Packers game? Hudson goes, we
They
lost.
lost, but
we
it
lost,
didn't
but it doesn't even
matter.
matter.
Because
So.
that game, yes,
Doesn't
that
even
one didn't
matter.
matter. That is
So
that
you're
is
not
accurate.
giving me any of
And
that
then-
spark that you just had right now.
And then she asked me what happened with the Browns. I said, we won, but it didn't matter. So,
Well, asking the wrong questions.
yeah,
You should
I feel
you-
like right now it doesn't matter,
But then-
and I don't know what the matter point is. Is that like once you get to the Super Bowl? I'm just not sure.
Yeah.
Well, the Packers have one more week of not mattering. They don't even have a game because they're so good. So
We'll
good.
circle back
They don't
when it
even
starts
need
to
to play
matter
this
again.
week.
Okay,
Yep.
you guys just
We'll let
tell
you
me because
know.
I don't know.
We'll let you know when it matters again. Yeah, we talked about that, and then we also circled back and talked about some fruits and veggies, some good food talk. Hudson offended some listeners.
Oh my
That-
gosh!
I appreciate you saying that.
Yes.
If you say I said something offensive, even if it's not offensive, that makes people think it's offensive. And that's helpful.
That'll
That
get
drives
them
up
to
the
listen?
numbers.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Drives
why,
up
you know,
engagement. That's
People
all I want.
that's in the very
That's all I
back of the
want.
podcast, so now they'll make it to the very end. They'll be like, "Where does he offend people?"
Yeah.
So they'll hang on the whole time.
And then you'll listen all the way through and you'll be like, he didn't say anything
I think I've been
offensive.
offended by guys too much because what happens is whenever you two do something, I usually get text messages or messages of like, they're like, "Are you okay? Or did they really bother you? Is it okay? Or like, do we need to say something?" And I'm always like, "I don't care."
Should we say
Oh
something?
no, but that's the worst of all. You've been desensitized
Yeah, I know.
to our abuse.
I know, it's even worse. So it's
Oh.
whenever that we, as in when I say we, I mean Hudson and
You mean
I
men?
say anything that has to do with females, that's usually when controversy
I just
arises.
love that you guys speak up the most then.
I know.
I think that's really
We're like, well, this is kind of what women think. So
Yes.
we know.
Football, you're being quieter.
Yeah, I know.
And women's rights, you're really
Yeah.
being loud.
Football, we're like, well, it doesn't really matter. When it's like the women eat fruits and veggies, we're like, they do.
Okay.
They eat them.
Well, I just love it. So listen to that part and really enjoy it. Absorb it. You know, it'll
Yeah,
be
set
good.
that in.
And share your own thoughts with us
Guys.
on that, but only if you're a woman. only women are allowed to have an opinion on that story.
Exactly.
At least you're saying that.
Yeah.
Well, include your thoughts and your opinions to 8772 RadioU. Make sure you text and say hi, and hopefully you guys are having a great start to the week.
And we will catch you next time.
Bye.
If they keep talking long enough,
They're bound to say something that you agree with.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on Radio U.
Good morning, Nikki.
Good morning, Hudson.
How are you feeling?
Feeling good.
Yeah?
That was a good weekend.
Yeah, it was.
I think so. I hope everybody had a really good weekend, too.
Yeah, I did. I feel better for a Monday than usual.
Good.
Better than usual. Were you able to? Are you all set up over there?
Over
Y'all-
here?
Yeah,
I think I am.
You're logged in and everything.
We have these new Uber security protocol
Yeah,
things.
so
for
don't
life.
try to hack us.
Don't try to
It
hack at
won't
anything.
work.
But it means, and this is a good thing, even though every day it happens, it's not like what you're excited about. Where like, oh, you hop in the chair, you log into all your stuff, and you're all free and fancy.
Yeah.
Now it takes almost to the end of the show to get logged into everything.
It's the
It
things
is
we'll do for security.
Some tight security, but it is important, especially for radio nowadays.
I just it's all for a good cause.
Sure.
All what we're doing to make sure that nobody ransomwares us or anything. But I just also feel like it's not great when you logging into your own things that belong to you feel like you're the hacker.
Yes.
That's not
Absolutely,
That's
that's
not
the
how
right
it's supposed
way.
to feel. But
we do.
I'm not blaming our own security protocols on that. I'm blaming the actual hackers.
Sure.
It's their fault we have to do this. We've seen place after place after place, especially if you follow the news, where they get ransomware.
For millions and millions of dollars.
And all it
Real
takes.
dollars.
Yes. Well, does Bitcoin count as real dollars? I mean, you really have to pay it.
It does when you have
But
to
it's
pay.
always Bitcoin. We've seen place after place go down with that type of thing. So that's what we're trying to avoid. And the more complicated it is for us to just do our day-to-day jobs and log into the things that we use from day to day, the more complicated it will be for somebody to one day take us down.
We'll take it, but it's still like new to us. So
Yeah.
when you get in, especially first thing in the morning, you're just like, all right, let's go.
Yes.
Let's log in.
You have to prep yourself.
We do.
Just to log into stuff. But I always in a way was kind of the mind of like, hey, if somebody can figure out my password, then more power to them,
Sure.
There's nothing for them to steal anyways. Trust me.
here-
But with a radio station or with any business, the business is it's much more important than any of us are.
I think it's good even if in your personal life you try to come up and make sure that your online world is safe and secure.
Sure.
You want it so hard that they can't get your password and you can barely
If
do
it's
it.
not frustrating you,
Then
it's
you're
not going to
doing it
frustrating
right.
them.
Yep. So we're happy to say that's what we're currently at.
Yes, one day we'll be used to it.
That's all right. And then
But-
they'll change it up again. You gotta always stay
Well,
changing it.
The hackers would be used to it too, so we got to stay one step ahead.
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
It's breaking a tradition today. We are going to not really talk about the box office.
Was there
results.
nothing much? Or
Well, it's just Spider-Man again.
Well,
How
okay.
many weeks in a row are we
Can
going
we
to talk about
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man?
Listen, they want their time, and if they won,
They've gotten plenty of time. They've gotten all the Spider-Man. And you know what? I'll add on that I'm going to see Spider-Man. Finally, I found the time, and things have fallen into place. So I will see Spider-Man tomorrow.
Nice.
And so maybe you know what? We'll put a pin in the box office. We'll talk about Spider-Man and how it won on Wednesday after I see the movie.
Since you'll be a part of that,
Yeah.
and that'll be good, too.
And then those other movies that
Talk
lost
about-
out to Spider-Man, we don't even need to mention them because they lost.
Well,
They're
get-
losers. They
Get ready
failed.
for no other good movies for quite a few weeks.
Yeah. So instead, we can talk about the Golden Globes winners. Now, the Golden Globes, all previous years, would have been a big TV event last night, and you know I would have been watching.
The stars would have come out.
Yes, that's right.
So, okay, it's been kind of confusing, though, with how people have been talking about the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
Because it was not televised.
It was not.
I don't even think it was streamed
Nope.
at that point.
It was a small ceremony. Hardly anybody was
Attended.
actually there. And all of the announcements were really just done on Twitter.
Now, after last year's one, they had a lot of controversy involving not being diverse enough
Yeah.
and winners and films that are nominated and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think after last year's was already set up to be the final televised one anyways.
Uh-huh.
So it's not like the diversity part led to its removal from television.
Right.
It's just it didn't do anything
Yeah, it
for
might have
so
been
many
like
years.
a contract thing came up, and they never worked something out with somebody else. And
No one
something
wanted
tells
it.
me there was additional controversy besides just the diversity stuff, but don't quote me on that. Anyways, it wasn't. It's almost in a way. It was always weird that it was televised because it's just the Hollywood Foreign Press. It's not that many people that vote. They don't vote on the Oscars or anything, so it's not even like they have a hand. It's just the only reason it was always a big deal is because it's like the beginning of award season and people just are excited. So it's the beginning of award season and people are excited. We still have awards to talk about now. And the fun thing about the Golden Globes, too, is at the end of the night, everyone feels like a winner because there's so many. They have so many categories because they split
Oh,
up
I didn't know that.
for TV and movies both. They don't just have best TV show, best movie. They have best comedy/musical, which it's weird to group those two things together. There's nothing funny about musicals. And then they have a different category for just drama.
I see.
Yeah, so just winds up where everyone gets nominated and twice as many things get to win.
Anything big win?
The big winner for Best Motion Picture Drama, that's the most prestigious award for movies. It was The Power of the Dog. That's a Netflix movie.
Oh, the Benedict Cumberbatch one.
Yep, the one where he's naked.
You know what? Hudson told me that, and I found out before I watched because I don't want that. So I just passed on
It was an
watching
interesting
it.
surprise that was sprung upon me when I did watch that movie.
I wish they would let you know ahead of time on some of those.
Yeah. Well, there's your warning.
Thank you for telling me that.
The Best Picture Musical or Comedy was West Side Story, the Steven Spielberg remake.
Sure.
So that was a winner. Let's see. Will Smith won Best Actor for the Best Drama Movie for King Richard. And Nicole Kidman was the Best Actress in a Drama with Being the Ricardos. That's her one where she plays I Love Lucy. For TV, you want to hear who won the TV stuff?
I guess this just reminds me I don't really care for
You
awards
don't keep up with
ceremonies.
all this stuff?
No, but you can tell me TV.
Succession was the Best Drama, and Hacks was the Best Musical or Comedy. So HBO Max winning big in those categories.
It's hard when you go through all the Golden Globes or all the other awards and you see all the TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, what are those?
Yeah, right?
I don't know if my head's in a hole or something, but half of these I've never even heard of.
Yeah, I keep up more with the movies. So when I see the list of the nominees for the movies and stuff, it's like, oh, these are all the movies I need to catch up on before the Oscars. And when I see all of the lists of stuff that was nominated for TV, I'm like, oh, there's a list of stuff I've never heard of and don't care about at all.
Don't plan on watching.
At least with a movie, if you want to catch up before the award shows, it's like 2 hours each movie. You can do it in 20 hours. For TV shows, good luck. Good luck watching all of that.
Get started.
So many episodes, so many shows.
As the Golden Globes was not televised last night, and no one wanted anything to do with it.
And we're giving it as much attention as it received when it actually happened.
Well, that's it. That's all we get.
We would say rate and review the podcast. But let's be honest, that would probably hurt more than help. The Worst of the Riot podcast.
Good morning, Isaiah.
Good morning, guys.
What a day of football yesterday, wasn't it, y'all?
Oh, it was a great one.
Yeah?
It was a good day.
I can never tell going in. I'm like, is it going to be good? Are we mad about anything? Or do we
Wait.
like how yesterday worked out?
You can't tell?
No,
Like, you don't know? You didn't watch?
I didn't watch everything. And honestly, you guys didn't share the Google Doc where you told me all the
true,
things
we
I
did.
should remember.
Yeah.
So I
Well-
wasn't sure if you guys would be happy with how things turned out.
Okay, it was a lot of fun watching all of yesterday. The Packers did lose, but honestly, didn't even care.
You said it didn't really
It was
matter.
a meaningless game. It might as well have been preseason for them. So, Rodgers got out there, threw a few touchdowns, and that called it a day. But remember how we talked on Friday about how there could be a scenario where the big game last night, Sunday night, where both teams would want it to end in a tie.
Sure.
Because if things fell the right way, they would both make it in. If they just tied, that almost happened.
It did?
That almost
It should have happened.
capped off the day.
But we
with
talked
a tie.
about how if they actually did do that, they'd maybe get in trouble.
They might have if they just blatantly, obviously played for a tie, but that's not what they did. So what happened? What had to fall into place was the Colts needed to lose to the Jaguars, and it was like, what? They're 15-point favorites. What are the odds? Very slim, right? But they did lose to the Jaguars, which set up this scenario that could have led the Chargers and Raiders to tie. The Chargers and Raiders, what was it? 32-32 going into overtime, and they play almost a whole overtime. And we're down to less than a minute left. So it looks like it's just going to end in a tie.
Yeah.
In fact, the Raiders, they had the ball, and they seemed to be ready to just kneel it out. There was 38 seconds left. And for some reason, Brandon Staley, the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, calls a timeout. Maybe thinking, it was third down, maybe thinking we stop him one more time, maybe we get the ball back. And then what? You kneel it out instead? But in fact, he calls a timeout. The Raiders change their strategy. They're like, hey, might as well. And they go ahead and get the yardage they need to kick the field goal and win. So now
there was no tie?
There was no tie.
Yeah,
No
that
tie.
was, and they, even in the post game interview, the quarterback of the Raiders said when he called that timeout, that changed our strategy in the
Right.
game. He said we are willing to literally just run the ball out and call it a tie because they were going to make the playoffs anyway. Both teams were going to make the playoffs.
Right.
Why wouldn't you just run it out and for the Raiders not even take the risk of losing the ball?
Yes, and I want to. Everybody is ripping on Brandon Staley, the coach of the Chargers. I wanna take his side.
Oh, my
I wanna say I
gosh.
understand because I was thinking about this. I was talking to my wife before the game. I was saying, what are the odds that it even would end in a tie? It'd be too hard unless you both agreed to kneel it out, and then even then, it would only take one play where the other team's like, ha ha. And they fake the kneel and go for a touchdown, and then all of a sudden it's chaos. You can't trust the other team. This is what Brandon Staley was doing. You can't trust the Raiders.
Yeah, let me call a timeout and
Sure.
go ahead and just ensure our loss. Let's call a timeout so they can get the field goal. That's a great idea.
He didn't ensure anything.
Great idea.
The Raiders, they were maybe lulling the Chargers into a false sense of security. In fact, now we know it's what they were doing.
Sure.
They lulled them into a false sense of security of we can call a timeout. So he was just being appropriately distrustful of the Raiders. And it was actually turns out to be his demise. But he also
Turned out not working out for him. But
you can't judge based off of results.
Sure.
Yeah, of
He
course
was-
not.
So I'm on Brandon Staley's side. He didn't know. How could he know? How could he truly trust that the Raiders were going to just kneel it out?
Well,
You can't
I-
trust them. They're the enemy.
I hear what you're saying, but I just want to tell you, don't go online with that approach because
Yeah.
no one wants to hear it.
I need to go online. This is how we get. This is how we get
No.
interaction.
Not
this
at
is how
Hudson
we
is
get.
RadioU. Nope.
No,
all I've
that's what
seen
I'm
so
doing.
far is Brandon Staley should be fired. That's all
Yeah.
I've seen online is he should be fired for that call.
Yeah, it's only been there for one season. Give him another chance.
Well, he blew the playoffs. And they also said that had it ended in a tie, it would have been a historic loss for the sportsbook for gambling because
Yeah.
so many people had bet on it being a tie, which obviously never happens. So they said it would have been one of the biggest catastrophes in gambling ever for the sportsbook, which would have been insane.
So, other than that, though, how was How was your Sunday?
Great.
Yeah.
The Browns won. It didn't really matter, but they
Yeah.
won, so that makes me happy.
I love you guys so much. You're like, yeah, every game, you're like, yeah, that's great, but it didn't really matter. You're like,
But it
yeah,
didn't matter.
They lost, but it didn't really matter.
No, it was. It's interesting. Now the Raiders get to make the playoffs. Now the Steelers get to make the playoffs.
Yippee.
Ben Roethlisberger gets the chance to. His career is extended by at least one game. Now they play the Chiefs next week on Sunday, and the last time they played the Chiefs earlier this year, it was a mess. They played horribly. So,
But
he has a
remember, it doesn't really matter.
no,
Doesn't matter.
and there's a chance.
It just doesn't matter.
Yep,
Football's the best.
Yep.
the Packers are in. That's
all
That's what matters.
That's what
That's what
matters.
matters is the Packers winning. That's what matters.
The Riot promise is that they'll always have an opinion on everything they talk about. But that doesn't mean any of their opinions will make sense. This is The Riot on RadioU.
Did you see this story? It is a woman. She was flying to France. Her name is Gina Sheldon. And on her trip to France, where she flew through Air France, she had her luggage. She had a mix-up. Her luggage was replaced. It was supposed to be Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is her return trip or her trip there. And I don't know. So I don't know if these are Christmas gifts she was giving away or Christmas gifts that she had received.
Sure.
Nevertheless, her Christmas gifts had been replaced with a bag full of dog food and other random items.
So when she
That's
opened
not
it
what
up,
she got for Christmas.
Yeah, it was supposed to be her presents and stuff, and then
Yeah.
it looked like she had booked her Air France flight through Delta.
Right.
And this was around Thanksgiving, so I think people are mad mostly at Delta.
Yeah.
Even though I'm sure Air France, it's just like a partner airline thing.
Yeah, it's all connected.
She said that she's not still been reimbursed adequately and still angry at Delta's response to the situation.
Yeah, she apparently all she received was 75,000 air miles.
That's it?
And that's it. And
money?
I'm not good with miles, but that she says that's less than the price of her ticket would have been.
When you get the money of what was luggage, or I guess like loss in your luggage, or if you had like insurance, does that count?
Yeah,
with
right.
It?
That's true. Like, why would your whole ticket price be refunded for the luggage?
I want the luggage refunded.
Yeah, right. The whatever was the value of the luggage seems to make sense, but I mean, of course, how can you prove any of that? So,
Yeah, she says-
unless they actually found the bag, which then she would just get it back and everything would be fine.
Well, found the bag, but
Mostly
maybe
fine.
not the stuff inside.
Yeah, right.
Says she feels like she's been given the royal runaround, and which is how it is. I mean, no one's working, and that includes there's barely enough to get the planes in the air.
Yeah.
Let alone do the ticket stuff and the complaints on
that's
the
right.
grounds.
She needs to be thankful for what she got, which was a flight. Many people aren't even that lucky. So, but now, so this happened. Like, of course, it was around Christmas, so a few weeks ago now. And she said that after, it made its initial rounds and was, I guess, more in the news right after Christmas. And Delta was, communicating with her at that time. But since the interest in the story has waned, so has Delta's interest in dealing with her, which, isn't that always the way? So she's trying to get it back out there and say, hey, look, I only got 75,000 miles, which, again, how much is that? Is that good? Is that bad?
That's not
it's not good
even-
enough for her.
Not even what she had for the price of the tickets.
Yeah. So I like the airline's response. They say, we apologize for this customer's experience with baggage. Despite an otherwise pleasurable experience. See, this is what you can't do if you complain about something or you do a survey after the fact. You can't give them anything to be like, but it wasn't so bad because this is the only problem. You had one problem. Think about all the things that have to come into place for you to fly from New Hampshire to France or something. Think about all of that, and the only thing that went wrong is that you lost your luggage.
Well, she
That's
said
so bad when you think about it.
They say that they've been in contact with her to offer fair compensation as an additional token of apology for what experience she had while she was flying with their partner, Air France.
So what do you think? Do you think she needs some more?
More money?
Yeah, more something.
If my luggage was lost and it's mostly just, I can't tell. did her luggage actually get lost, or did someone inside take out all the valuable stuff inside and replace it with the dog food?
Right. Or was it a mix-up and she got a bag that looks the same, but it's filled with dog food?
Either way, I would want more money back.
Yeah. But I guess so.
And if not, why not a puppy, since I got all the dog food?
Yeah,
Give
right?
me a puppy, too.
Hey, for me, that might be a blessing in disguise.
Hudson, Nikki,
The Riot.
on Radio U.
Let's take a little trip up to Canada, shall we?
Let's go.
To the Great White North, to particularly Quebec, where they have found the secret to getting people to get vaccinated.
I saw what they were. Now, I can't tell if they were threatening it or if it was something that was going to go into effect. But isn't this where they were like, oh, if you want to buy liquor or weed, you have to be vaccinated?
Yeah, I believe they actually did institute a policy where you need your vaccine passport,
Your first dose.
to be able to enter their liquor stores and their cannabis stores, which they actually have their own names for them. Société d'Alcool de Québec.
Hey, you're Canadian. You should do better than that.
Yeah, just because I'm Canadian doesn't mean I speak French. That is a stereotype that I want to fight against.
Because you don't know.
Yeah, but in Quebec they definitely do. So yeah, they instituted that policy. And since that policy was instituted, they have now seen, the policy goes into effect on January 18th. So since they announced that they are instituting that policy, they have seen their appointments for vaccinations quadruple.
Go from 1,500 a day to more than 6,000.
Yeah.
Now,
all of the drunk and high Quebecois.
I'm going to tell you on the one hand for that argument, though, they've only made the appointment. It doesn't mean
right. They still got to actually show up, right?
So that can sometimes be a problem.
I was going to go get my vaccine, but I got high.
They got forgot.
But now you won't be able to get high, so you better go get it.
So they say, and I think it's just like going in, you could still do curbside pickup.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, I think if that was the case, then they wouldn't have this.
Well, they
but
might.
maybe they're too drunk to even think that through, or maybe they're too drunk to drive.
They say
so they can't do curbside.
They say non-vaccinated people going in to those locations. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. But maybe I don't know. I don't know if they do the curbside the same way. That's a good question, actually. Maybe I guess they haven't thought that through. The alcoholics among the people in Quebec might want to think about that. Well, think that through a little bit. Still go get your vaccine, please. But maybe you don't have to if you just want to do curbside.
If you drive
don't have to go in and peruse the liquor store. Just order ahead.
So I was just trying to figure that out when I heard them talk about that over the weekend. I was like, well, you have to listen to the key words.
Yeah.
And the word was if you wanted to go in. But it seems like in Canada and Quebec that motivated people, they're saying, because they had such an increase in appointments.
Yeah. So I don't know if that would work here, because I know that that in many places in the United States, they weren't just saying you need your vaccine to get into liquor stores. They were saying, if you get your vaccine, we'll give you free liquor. And still we have a large amount of people that are unvaccinated. So,
every
I don't
area
know.
is different.
There's just some people that are going to hold out no matter what. And I don't know if adding alcohol to the equation is helpful or not.
It's not all. Normally, we find it's not.
Yeah, right.
So, but this is what they're trying.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
We've talked about the NFL and all the excitement going on. Then there is college football, where the season caps off tonight. And, as much as I'd like the season to continue, I don't know if it feels as exciting as the NFL,
Don't get mad, but okay, the national championships tonight.
Yeah.
Who's playing again? I can't remember. It's been a while. Does it feel like it's been a while for everybody else?
It does feel like it's been a while. It's Georgia and Alabama.
Okay, that's it. All right.
Which they play,
again.
They earn. Yeah, right. Again,
they play all the time with us.
They earned their way in on New Year's Eve. And that does anybody else feel like that was a lifetime ago?
Yes, it does.
Even though it was like a week ago.
That was
a
week and a half.
But we feel like we've had a lot of games and a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't remember. So.
Yeah, and so the game is tonight. And I also have a survey here that just happens to tie in where VegasInsider.com surveyed a bunch of college football fans where they were asking which college has the most bandwagon fans.
So bandwagon would be, say, like your school really did super good in the beginning. Everybody's jumping on as a fan, and you're being vocal about being a fan, even though maybe you weren't there
If
the
they
whole
were having
time.
a 6-6 season, you wouldn't be so vocal.
You'd be quiet.
Unsurprisingly, the fan base that was determined to have the most bandwagon fans, according to this, was Alabama.
Not surprised.
Yeah, it doesn't make
Makes
it
sense.
does make sense because if Alabama, like that just means you're a front runner. It just means you like to jump on the team that's doing the best, and that's by default is always going to wind you up with Alabama.
Alabama has bandwagon fans and just fans.
Right.
So they
Yeah.
have all of them.
They have everything.
To be fair, they do
Yeah.
have the diehards as well.
Yeah, because I mean,
In
it makes
spades.
sense for you to like jump on the bandwagon for a good team. So the top teams are always going to be the ones that have the most bandwagon
That's
fans.
why you see the top 4 is Alabama, then Clemson, followed by Ohio State and Notre Dame. Those are teams that are basically good year in and year out. So no wonder so many people would jump on the bandwagon.
But this is not like fans. Like we said, this is bandwagon fans. So they tend to get more as the season goes on.
Although
if they're having a good season.
I would venture to say that those 3 out of those top 4 may be 3 out of the top 4 of the most fans generally, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree.
So, that's just it's something to keep in mind tonight. There's going to be a lot of extra Alabama fans than compared to if some other team was in the championship.
They say that these type of fans are maybe, they're loyal and kind of true once they jump on the bandwagon.
So as far as the game goes tonight, what are we looking forward to?
Is
what are we
anybody watching?
expecting?
I'm sure I'll watch the
Are
game.
we even watching?
I will watch the game. I'm hoping that Georgia wins because they haven't won in the college football playoff era, so that'll be kind of cool for them to upset Georgia or upset Alabama. But other than that, like I'm not like super into it.
Are you making anything?
I'm not gonna make anything.
You're not making
I'm not
anything?
like honestly before like yesterday I wasn't even thinking that the college football championship was tonight. Like it was just kind of one of those things where Alabama and Georgia are playing, Ohio State's not playing. So
Guys, is anybody making
Just
a
okay.
dip or anything? Are we doing fun stuff or not?
We
No.
can't make dip. I can't make a dip.
Is it on ESPN or is it on?
Yeah, it's on ESPN.
Oh,
It's
never
not even
mind
on network TV.
Anybody have an ESPN login? No.
he's like I can't even watch if I wanted to.
Okay, how about this? I'll make a dip and I'll share the dip.
Yeah,
we go.
if someone
share
shares
the
a
login.
login, it's a nice little relationship right there.
Well, it'll work out. It's I want to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So which bandwagon are you on, Alabama or Georgia? Whichever one has the better food?
No, yeah, exactly. Whoever brings the best food to the party.
Yeah.
And whoever is the fan who has the login to use.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the
There
team
you
I'm
go.
going for.
All right. I'm just going to pull for Alabama. Like, why not?
what?
If they're going to get all the way to the championship, who cares if they win or lose?
But Georgia hasn't won yet. Why wouldn't you want them
Well,
to
they
win?
don't deserve to.
Okay. Alabama deserves to win every year, I guess. That's what we're doing. It's always Alabama. They always
We
deserve to
already
win.
saw how Georgia plays against Alabama. They don't deserve another chance to play them. It should have been somebody
We're
else.
here. These are some strong words,
Yeah.
Hudson. So maybe we should wait and just
you know what?
figure it out tomorrow
Let me
once
re-
the game's over.
Actually, let me reverse this all. I am not cheering for Alabama and therefore picking them to win. I'm picking Alabama to win because they are better and therefore cheering for them because I want to be right. I'm cheering for myself to be right.
That sounds pretty accurate. If I Ohio State isn't playing, so he's like, who do I cheer against? I don't know. It's so odd. If Ohio State was in it, then I'd know who I was cheering for because it wouldn't be them.
But as we all know, Ohio State's not in it. They didn't even make the playoff.
Oh man, that's
Hey.
okay. Hey, we still won our
Hey.
game. We still won our game.
What are you doing?
Your
over there?
exhibition game.
Hudson, who's your team? You can't cheer. He's a non-Ohio
I
State
sure
fan.
can.
That's his team.
Can. You know
Listen,
what? You know
you
what?
upset people with that sort of talk, and it's a Monday. We don't
Yeah,
need
it's a
to upset
Monday.
people.
I am. I don't have a team. I'm neutral. I'm objective.
No, he's not neutral.
I'm
He's a Ohio
objective.
State hater. That's his team. Whoever we're playing against, that's his
Guys,
favorite team.
Let's just go back to what dip is someone making
Yeah.
tonight because otherwise everybody's
Hey.
going to get mad at you.
I didn't even bring up Ohio State. Come on, guys. I'm not bringing them up. They're not.
Buckeyes,
they're not.
guys.
They're not playing.
You guys
so
can
no
hate on
reason
Hudson.
to bring
Just
them
love
up.
me. Just love me. It's that easy. That makes an easy choice for you.
It takes out Hudson. He can't come do the show anymore.
I'm being unfairly maligned here.
We've done you a favor by selecting the best of the worst and compiling it all in one place. Riot Podcast Radio U.
Remember, do you remember in December when we found the mystery hut on the moon?
So this was back in the very beginning of December. They had a picture of what looked like a cube on the moon, and people were wondering what it was.
Yeah.
Now, the cue in all like the Pizza Hut things, you know, like everybody made memes out of all of it. But basically, deep down, like then, they knew it was probably just a rock.
Yeah, big rock.
But it was such a weird picture, and they said, okay, well, we'll go get some more pictures of it.
Yeah.
And then they kept talking about like the rover thing.
Yeah.
Would take a really long time just to get over there.
Yeah, right.
To get a better picture of it.
So that was the beginning of December. Now, weeks and weeks later, the
Mystery Hut
rover has finally reached the Mystery Hut and taken some close-up pictures of it, and we have confirmation that it is in fact just a rock.
Wow.
But I did like, which,
how much money did it take to figure that out?
Don't worry, it's Chinese money.
Okay,
and they've got plenty of it. They've got plenty. But what I am interested in is the harrowing journey that the rover took to reach the hut. Now, when we first learned about the hut and the rover that was going to take the journey, I thought it was a typo. They said it had to travel 328 feet to reach the rock, and they said that was going to take weeks. And we're like, what? You mean 328 like miles or light years or something? Like, why is it going to take weeks
for
it to get there? But for some reason, it takes forever for this rover to move. In fact, on this trip, on this weeks-long trip that it took, it actually broke its single excursion distance record. It went up to 40 feet in one day.
Wow.
Whoa. Yeah.
Stop.
So what I don't understand is why. Why does it work that way?
Well, I mean, it is just a little rover.
Yeah.
And why does it need to be faster than that? Why can't it just be
There's
its own
a lot of
speed?
moon to explore.
It's all the same thing. It is all rocks.
And you put how much money did you put up to get this little like rover to get onto the moon and basically sit there in one place? For all intents and purposes.
It's not sitting there. It's going...
It's pretty much sitting there.
It's going 40 feet.
It covered 40 feet in a day. It's just sitting... I cover more than 40 feet in a day.
You know what? You wouldn't be a good, like, fitness trainer or motivational person if you can't be excited for it to 40 feet.
The Chinese people that made this mission, this rover, wouldn't be good fitness. They'd be like, 40 feet in a day. Yep, let's call it good.
That's a record.
You're on the path to fitness right there. 40 feet in a day.
Thankful and grateful for whatever feat the rover does.
Yeah, it was quite a feat. You know, I would like to be at the work at whatever this place is, the Chinese NASA.
If that's all they expect.
Where it's not just one person moving this thing either, right? It's like a whole team. They have a whole operations center, and all their job is like, good job, gang. We moved the rover 40 feet today. Job well done. Let's all head home. Maybe tomorrow we can get up to 45 feet. Ooh.
Well, it made it. It took pictures of the hut thing from last month, and it is just a rock.
This is why it's so hard to get excited about space stuff. This is what? This is what Elon Musk wants us to do? He wants us to go to the moon and move 40 feet a day?
Maybe he can do better than that.
Yeah. That's our future? Can't wait.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
We have a new report from the CDC here, but don't worry. This is not about COVID. This is not
They do other stuff. You
they
forget
do,
that.
right? Yeah.
Remember, they were always about the norovirus.
They used to about the norovirus. They used to before COVID. They would talk to you about like washing your hands and stuff like that. They still talk to you about that.
And cruise ships.
Oh, the CDC's been around for a while. They're on like a new thing.
Yeah. You know what?
I hadn't really heard of them before.
I remember the CDC. Get a load of this. It was referenced in the first season of The Walking Dead.
It was?
That was probably the first we ever heard of it, right? You know, like 2011 or whenever that came out.
Probably.
Yeah, that's how the CDC, older than you think. It does more. And today, or actually this was this past Thursday, but they came out with a new report that they published. And one of the major findings of their report is that American women are more likely to eat fruits and vegetables on a consistent daily basis than men are.
Are you looking
Wow.
at me? What do we do? Why am
I'm
I
so
doing
impressed
that?
the
Yeah.
CDC was able to come up with it. I mean, if you would ask me, like, who do you think eats more fruits and veggies?
Yeah.
Women or men? I really would have
Well,
struggled
wait a
with that
minute.
one.
Not gonna be you.
I'm saying across the board, 100%. I mean, unless you guys disagree, would you not have thought that women eat more fruits and vegetables than men?
Yeah, I guess. Actually, I have a theory on it.
What's your theory?
I have a theory, and it ties back to last week. Remember last week we talked about that survey that said the average American man would rate himself on attractiveness of 5.9 out of 10?
Yeah.
In other words, the average American man thinks he's above average.
Yeah.
And so as a man, you're thinking, eating healthy, eating fruits and vegetables, which don't taste good, why would I do that? Why would I try to monitor my weight? I'm already above average the way I am. I don't need to diet. I don't need to eat healthy to increase. Whereas maybe women have a lower opinion of themselves. They have lower self-esteem. They're like, I need to eat this lettuce so I can lose weight, so I can feel better, so people will like me more. But you don't have to.
Hudson,
just be like a man.
Where's the
Be
study that says women have lower self-esteem?
I really think that I don't actually. I don't have one. That's just my
Opinion?
That's just his opinion.
Yes, I can't imagine you survey 2,000 women and they're gonna rate themselves 5.9. You think?
I don't. Well, I think they know better than to ask that.
I'm not going to take a stance
Yeah.
on this question on either side, but I do think I kind of agree with Hudson on the part that I think the guys probably eat more fruits and vegetables than they realize, but in their mind they prioritize like, oh, the main thing, my main source of food is like probably meat. At least that's how it is for me. And so like when I think about when I've eaten fruits and veggies, I don't really even contemplate when I've eaten them because I'm like, that meal was like, oh, I had chicken or oh, I had beef,
Right.
but there was
Sure.
also
It's
other
a side
things in
dish.
it where I feel like a female more would be more likely to be like, oh yeah, in that I had like 3 different things. Kind of like how it always is. Like if you ask a guy a question, he's going to be super general, like, oh, I had meat, or oh, I had
more
a
details.
hamburger.
Yeah.
Where a female would be like, oh, I had a hamburger, but that also had like lettuce and tomatoes and other things on it. So they probably took into account more things than the men was like, oh, I had meat for that
Because
meal.
the CDC wasn't saying that guys weren't having it. It was
Yeah.
just saying that, they think that women reported that we thought we hit our daily recommended compared to like men. They just didn't think that they hit close enough.
Yeah. Well, okay. I have two additional theories.
I can't
One,
wait
Here we
to
go.
hear
Here we
this.
go.
Hang on. Let me
What?
get closer. I want to get ready for Hudson's theory on women's stuff.
One. Isaiah is bringing down the average of men. Like,
I am.
by
'Cause
not
he's a
eating his
10?
vegetables, and I am too. I don't like vegetables. I'm not as staunchly opposed as Isaiah is, but
I eat some
don't need
fruit
a
sometimes.
You do?
An apple every now and then.
Yeah.
Some apple and peanut butter. I do that pretty
you go.
frequently.
Yeah.
Vegetables, not so much. Not so much.
Okay, I actually have. It's not a vegetable, but I've been eating corn more. Really big.
What
fan
is
of
corn? Corn isn't a vegetable?
No, it's not.
What is
it's
it
a
considered?
grain.
It's a
It's a
grain.
grain.
A grain. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
kind of sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on, it's a vegetable. But okay, so okay. I think we can all agree on this. Women have more.
What is
We
it?
all can agree. We all,
Have
everybody.
more pressure
What
on
do
them.
you have?
They have more
Oh,
pressure. Their body image. There's more pressure on women to maintain a certain weight, whereas men, like you could be a huge man, nobody cares.
Hudson, you're
right?
mansplaining something.
I am,
You
but is it
are.
not true? Isn't it true? Nick,
if it
just say what
is-
I'm saying. Just say you say it.
I'm not
say
saying
women
it.
have more pressure on them to be in shape than
Repeat
men
after
do.
me.
Say
Repeat
it.
after me. Say it.
You're telling
Hudson,
me what to do.
Hudson says, just say it. Just say what I'm saying. Just
And I
agree with me,
feel
Nikki, please.
Like you're yelling at me to do it. No, I do agree. We do have maybe a bit more
Thank you.
of that, but I don't think you should be the one to say it.
Nikki's like, that was
But
my
if it's
part in the
true, it
segment.
doesn't matter
I
who
was supposed
says
to
it.
say that. Hudson's like, no, I'll explain that part.
It does matter. No, thanks. Thank you so much, Hudson, for breaking this down for us.
I just think. I guess I'm just giving us men like it's actually it reflects negatively on us.
Welcome to The Riot, where you listen to us and that's it. It's pretty much a one-way street.
The Riot.
RadioU.
I don't know if anybody's ever experienced this, but when you just get into the worst moments of your life where something's gone wrong, and like something I was thinking about is when you get to that point and you don't even want to think about what it's going to be like once the thing isn't going on anymore. You know what I mean? Where you don't even want being hopeful doesn't feel right because it's like this thing is going on, and even if it gets resolved one day, like even if I'm able to move past this and continue on with my life, it doesn't mean this thing is never, it's still going to be lurking in the background. There's still going to be some after effects of this thing that happened to me that I'm still going to be dealing with, even if I'm not dealing with it. You know what I mean? Those things that just stick with you. And I think that sometimes when we get into those dark times in life, when it just feels like it's wrong to be hopeful, sometimes our minds can be a little small because we're so focused on this problem that we're dealing with, or the problems that maybe are stacked on top of each other, that it's hard to imagine a life without them. It's hard to imagine how they get resolved. It's hard to imagine how it all ties up, how we escape from that and actually truly escape from it.
Well, you can sometimes be afraid to be hopeful
Right.
because you want it to be all taken care of.
Yeah.
But, it's hard.
Well, and being hopeful feels so unrealistic too. It's like all this stuff that's happening is so huge. It's so, it's such a big issue. How could I ever actually leave this behind? But see, that's where the goodness of God comes in. That is where a relationship with Jesus is so amazing because, we have our own ideas of how a problem can be resolved, how we eventually move past a situation, how it affects us going forward, all that. We have our own ideas, but God has a different idea. God has a different way of handling it that we cannot envision ourselves sometimes. When you're going through a deep, dark situation that you just really don't want to deal with, and you don't want to even imagine how it's going to affect you going forward, God's saying, hey, maybe you're not thinking of the way it's going to affect you going forward. Like there's a path where this ends up way better than you actually even could believe. God wants to offer that to you. Jesus loves you and he cares about you and he sees what's going on with the situations you're dealing with. And he's saying, don't write off hope because you can't envision it. I can envision it. I have a hopeful future for you that I'm ready to give it to you. And all you need to do is trust me. Say, God, I'm ready for that kind of hope. I'm ready to get out of this situation and actually find out what it means to leave it behind in a way that I don't understand in the moment. God can give that to you. He wants to give it to you. And all you need to do is ask.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.